So is Zed Run legitimate? Let's talk about it. Welcome to the channel. If this is your first time here, I do a lot of Zed Run content. I went ahead and put a link in the description below of a playlist which has all of my videos on Zed Run. So if you're currently getting into Zed Run, looking for some more information, if you just want to binge watch all those videos, go ahead and check that playlist. They'll all be in order for you. So let's talk about today, is Zed Run legitimate? Now, like I guess many things, that question is a little bit complicated. It's not necessarily a yes or no answer. And it all depends a little bit on how you define the word legitimate. Because you are paying money to enter your horse into a race and you win money on that race. Some would consider that gambling. And of course, Zed Run does not have a gambling license. But then on the other end, other people who look at it, and this is a risk to the game is regulation. So the other side of the token is, it's like playing a game, whether you play Farmville or you play these other games where you pay to buy something and then you get in-game tokens that can be back. Some people are buying and selling it in the open market. So it's a gray area, I guess, on that way, and I guess the regulators are going to go out there and they're going to have to decide whether this constitutes gambling or not, or if it's very similar to, let's say, entering a golf tournament, and then the golf tournament pays out a prize pool to the people who win that, because it's not necessarily a game of chance, but a game of skill. And those are debates which I know are going to happen, and how you land on that will decide whether or not you think this game is quote-unquote legitimate in those terms. Now, the way I look at Zed Run is, what happens if you took that element out of the game? And that, in my opinion, as far as gambling, the paying to enter races and winning the races is really kind of the only thing that's a little bit on that gray area. Now, the question then comes, if you're starting to play this game and you're investing money in this game, is can Zed Run exist without the racing in its current form? And I venture to say yes, I think it can. I think there's lots of things Zed could do if the regulators really came down. One, we have the odds on the horses. You could enter these races for free or just use its native token. It's trying to develop its own token, which wouldn't have any quote-unquote monetary value. You would then have, your odds, or you could even race them and get your places. And these horses, being able to buy and sell these horses, I think in itself would hold up to most regulatory scrutiny, as long as NFTs at all exist, because you're able to buy and sell them on secondary and third markets, much like you could, buy characters in video games and sell them to a friend. So I think it would go ahead and it would survive as a game without that. The next question you have is, in the world of NFTs in general, is how legitimate is the project? Because a lot of NFT projects start and they never get to completion. Obviously, at this point, technically, Zed Run is still in what they're calling a beta phase. This is still a beta phase of the program of the game. So one of the dangers that comes with NFT projects and games like this is that there is a potential that these games fail. In other words, they start off, they release the Genesis horses, they release these Genesis level NFTs, they collect the money from them, and then poof, for whatever reason, they disappear with the money and the game collapses. In my opinion, I think Zed Run is already completely past a phase where you have to worry about a rug pull. Now, it could happen, right? There is no way to be without risk in Zed Run, or any other NFT project as well. But we already are look at this major sponsorship here by NASCAR. That's a pretty significant endorsement. That's beyond an entry-level project. Also having endorsements and partnerships with Atari, as well as raising, $25 million from venture capitalists. You look at the people involved in Zed Run, I don't think funding is going to be an issue to move this project forward. Obviously, mass adaptation. There's other challengers coming in, like Chicken Derby, which is kind of unique. But I think this is really going to be one of the OGs as far as racing games in the NFT space. And some of the things that it has going for it is it really does appeal to a very sophisticated type of player. a very sophisticated type of NFT player. And what's amazing throughout the world, and especially here in the United States, is horse racing is really going away. Real life horse racing seems to be disappearing. I lived in Hazel Park, Michigan for a long time. Great racetrack in Hazel Park. Loved going to Hazel Park, having hot dog night, and seeing the horses race and hearing the announcer and seeing the odds and betting on the ponies. And there's nothing like hearing that sound as the gates are rolling and the announcer goes there and the gates are rolling. If you've ever been to Hazel Park, it's classic. I'm sure a lot of people have lots of memories, fond memories, with their dad or their grandpa or their kids going to these horse races. You know, people who are a little older, I guess, like myself. And this game is going to appeal to that. What's amazing, I can buy these horses, and I breed these horses, and I can enter the horse into a race. I let my kids name the horses. They like to have their favorites as far as colors. And then when the race comes on, we put it on, and my son moves the mouse, and he can kind of hover around, and they're cheering for the horse. Oh, man. And then my daughter would say, that's not a good horse, Dad. We need to get rid of that horse. That horse never wins. And so I think that's going to be something that people are going to be able to enjoy. And as there's more adaptation and there's more opportunities for integration into local racing and to be able to race your horses with family and friends or in a local group with 10, 15, 20 of your buddies, you can all bring your horses and enter them into race. I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities. So as far as legitimacy in having fun and being interactive and creating a community, Zed Run is already there. There's somewhere around almost 80,000 horses now. I think there's 10,000 stables. So it's really started to gain that momentum. And if you're watching this at any point in the future, my hope and my expectation is that the amount of people who in some level are enjoying the game Zed Run, are participating in Zed Run, are buying, selling horses, breeding, racing horses, that is going to go into the millions of people. And so my perspective, we have that thin line that we're walking currently on what quote unquote is gambling. And it's not unique to Zed Run. That's unique to a lot of games inside the NFT space. But as far as the other things to go, I say absolutely Zed Run is a legitimate type company. It's beyond that introductory phase. It's almost to the point of completing issuing all those Genesis horses. It's brought on racing. It's hit all these little milestones. Breeding is active. Now there's tons of other things that still need to be activated in the game, and I think those will happen. When you have partnerships like NASCAR and Atari and tens of millions of dollars from very legitimate type and venture capitalist companies coming into a game or a project like Zed Run, I don't think there's any doubt about it that this game is beyond the point of earning legitimacy in the NFT space. Now, if you want to have an argument whether NFTs are legitimate in general, that's a little bit bigger topic and one that I'm not really prepared to talk about. But in my opinion, we have that thin line there on the gambling issue. And I think Zed Run is positioned and could exist with some modifications to make any regulatory hurdles overcomable. And the good thing is it is an NFT, so it is built on the blockchain. These horses are digital assets. Even if they try to shut down Zed.Run, they can't, at this point, they can't shut down your MetaMask wallet. That's on the blockchain. It's a wallet. It's an asset that you own. I believe buying, selling, trading would still be able to go on OpenSea or in other markets. Now, the prices might go down, but I think you're very secure in knowing that you own this asset as much as you own any digital asset, and you should be able to be free to buy, sell it, regardless of what happens to Zed.Run. Those are my opinions on is Zed Run legitimate? See ya.